Hey, want to start a political party? Great! Just one tiny detail. You're going to need money. Like, a lot of it. But before you call up your rich uncle or start a mysterious offshore account, there are some rules you need to know if you want to do it right. First up, transparency. Think of it this way. If politics were a restaurant, transparency would be like having an open kitchen. You get to see exactly what goes into your democracy sandwich and who puts it there. Transparency in political finance is essential to prevent corruption and maintain public trust. When financial transactions are open to public scrutiny, it reduces the risk of illicit activities such as bribery, undue influence, and embezzlement. Transparent financial practices help voters make informed decisions about the candidates and parties they support, as they can see who is funding them and how funds are being used. This openness enhances accountability and builds trust between the public and political entities. Let's take Moldova. In 2020, the Central Electoral Commission, CEC, introduced stricter reporting requirements for political parties, mandating detailed financial disclosures. Despite these measures, reports indicated that several parties, including major ones, failed to fully disclose their campaign expenditures or used opaque funding sources. So, in 2020, Moldova tried to make their political kitchen more transparent by demanding parties show all their receipts. But some parties were like, nah, we'll just keep the lights off. Thanks. This example underscores the ongoing struggle for transparency in Moldova's political finance landscape. And Moldova is not alone. Sadly, in almost every country there are parties or politicians that are not so fond of transparency. But it's not just the flow of money, also the flow of information. That is why some parties are advocating for a lobby register, so that anyone can see who politicians talk to, or, more importantly, who talks to them. Accountability mechanisms ensure that political parties and candidates adhere to legal and ethical standards in their financial activities. These mechanisms include regulatory oversight. Independent electoral commissions or regulatory bodies monitor and enforce compliance with political finance laws. Audits. Regular audits of party finances and campaign expenditures to detect irregularities. Penalties. Imposition of fines, sanctions, or other penalties for violations of finance regulations. Reporting requirements. Mandatory periodic reporting of financial activities by parties and candidates. Thus, accountability ensures that funds are used appropriately and that parties and candidates do not engage in corrupt practices. Also here, not all parties and politicians are big fans. Sadly, you can find people everywhere that try to find the loopholes to get away with cheating. And finally, fairness. Fairness in political finance aims to create a level playing field for all political parties and candidates. This involves equitable financial practices that prevent wealthier candidates or parties from having an undue advantage. Key elements of fairness include public funding, providing government grants or subsidies to political parties to ensure they have basic resources for operation and campaigning. Spending limits, imposing caps on the amount of money that can be spent during election campaigns to prevent excessive spending by wealthy candidates. Equal access, ensuring all parties and candidates have equal access to public media and campaign opportunities. Want to see what happens when fairness goes wrong? Let's look at Lebanon. Imagine playing Monopoly, but some players start with hotels while others can barely afford the dice. That's basically Lebanon's political system. In 2022, despite some independent candidates making breakthrough wins, they were massively outspent by established parties. We're talking about spending differences of 100 to 1. This is exactly why we need those 3 fairness tools we talked about. So there you have it. Political finance, where the money needs to be clean, tracked and fairly distributed. Remember, transparency keeps it honest, accountability keeps it legal, and fairness keeps it democratic. And if anyone offers you a mysterious briefcase full of campaign donations, maybe ask for a receipt first.